All right. Hello. 91.7 WLFR Pomona, Strange Ways Radio. And as our guest today from the Deathray Davies, we are speaking to John. Dufilho.
Dufilho. Close.
Dufilho.
Yeah.
Dufilho.
Yeah, that's all right.
Wasn't sure where the accent would be.
It's a tricky one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't fault anybody for. Yeah, I've got two extra H's in my name that seem to be kind of useless, but whatever. John Dufilho.
Nope.
Yeah.
Welcome, sir. Okay, so we have a brand new album from Deathray Davies. First album in like 14 years, I think it was.
You actually closer to 16.
16 years. Wow.
Last one was called The Kick and the Snare, and it came out in 2005. So yeah, it's been a little while.
Well, nice. Okay. For our listeners who may not be familiar with you, give us a little background on you and your band, please.
Okay. I started the band at the very end of 1999, if you can believe it. So I had moved up to Dallas I grew up in San Antonio, and I moved up to Dallas and started the band right around then. And originally it was just kind of a solo side project. I was in another band and was kind of, at the time I was listening to the Village Green Preservation Society, the record by the Kinks, quite a bit, and wanted to try to do some recording that was unlike what I'd done before. I started out as a drummer, and one of the things I wanted to try, which is what I did on the record, which is I just wanted to put one mic in a room and put the drums kind of on the opposite side, and that would be the entire, mic setup for the drums. And that's because I just this sort of different sounding record. So anyway, in 1999, that's when it started, and I did that. And it was just me playing all the instruments and everything on the first two records. And then we kind of slowly got a band together. Initially, I just kind of stole friends from other bands and that kind of thing. And so there were some people coming and going. But so we put out 5 records basically in about 5 years. And did a ton of touring around, and we're really fortunate, got to play with a lot of my favorite bands, got to go on tour, and then burned through a couple vans and a couple band members. And at some point we I think I was telling somebody we sort of lost the plot a bit and decided to just become a recording project around 2006. And then here we are. Suddenly we did a ton of recording, but never released anything. And meanwhile, I ended up joining the Apples in Stereo as their drummer and toured with them for quite a while. And
great band also. Yeah.
And I'm still in the band. We just haven't played for forever and ever.
But,
yeah. And Jason, our drummer, and he was our bass player, but he's been with me since the beginning as well, and he joined the Polyphonic Spree, so he's been playing with them for quite some time now. And we have 2 other members, Dylan, who's been with us forever, and Nick Earl, who are also in the Polyphonic Spree. So 3 of our guys are in the Spree, and I'm in the Apples. And so we spent a lot of time doing that stuff and recording in between when we could, but we just, for some reason, it ended up being quite a while, 15 years. And then,
wow.
Yeah, so here we are. And yeah, I came up with some songs. I guess it was a while back now. It must have been a year and a half ago, at least 2 years ago, and approached the band, said, what would you guys think about getting back together, trying to make a new record? And everybody was completely for it. And I was surprised how easily it fell back together. Like, how it felt pretty effortless, honestly, which never happens. So
wow, great. Okay. In hindsight, it's kind of obvious, but since you said you were listening to the Kinks a lot, of course, Deathray Davies came from Ray Davies as your inspiration then.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of, I love the Zombies in particular. I love them. A lot of British Invasion stuff, early Who, I love. So I was listening to a lot of that kind of stuff around that time. I kind of grew up with punk rock. But for me personally, usually it's the words that kind of pull me in. So I was a big fan of the Replacements. I think Paul Westerberg was really amazing with words.
He is.
Started with Dylan long before any of that. But yeah. Sorry, I forgot what the question was.
No. I'm not mainly okay. I'm not mainly that you got your name from the original Ray Davies, and he was, of course, a huge inspiration. Then had to be
a huge inspiration.
Sure. Yeah,
I love the way he sings. I love the way he tells stories. And like I said, before that, I was kind of all into punk rock, and there seemed to be more of a humility and more of a introspection, and I don't know. I guess something in the way that Ray Davies put it all together just really resonated with me then and still today, for sure. So I've never tried to reach out and get his official blessing, but I've heard through people that he's aware of us, and that at one point I got a call from Dave Davies' son, who has a band. And this was a long time ago, but he got my number and called, and he said his band was coming through town and could we play some shows? And I said, yeah, that'd be great. How did you hear about my band? And he said, I heard about you from my Uncle Ray. And I was like, all right, cool.
Nice.
So, yeah, that was a long time ago now, but and we didn't end up doing this because we weren't able to. We were out on another tour and couldn't make it back in time. But yeah, I mean it was 15 or 16 years ago at least. But anyway, yeah, definitely an inspiration.
Okay, great. Okay, after 16 years, here's how was getting back together as Deathray Davies for a new album started for you?
How was it getting back?
Well, how did the Return project start after 16 years?
So,
or 14 or 15 to start it rather than now.
Yeah.
So, that it's out.
For a living, I make a living as a songwriter and also mixing and producing other people's records, and but mostly writing. And so I write for a lot of different projects. And I wrote this batch of songs that ended up on Time Well Wasted pretty quick and all together. I mean, over the course of, I would say just a couple weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I wrote them all pretty fast and realized kind of right away that they all sounded like the Deathray Davies. And so I made some quick demos and sent them to Jason, who was our bass player. Now he's our drummer. He plays a few instruments like I do. And he right away said, yeah, these are absolutely, Deathray songs. So let's see if the other guys want to jump in. And the main difference that we did with this record that we'd never done, I wanted to try something new. So after everybody heard the demos and said they wanted to do it, I went to the studio first, to my friend Rip Rowan's studio, and I decided I wanted to kind of do the recording backwards. So I recorded an acoustic guitar and then did all the vocals for the whole record and just got them to where I liked like keeper vocals. So we started with vocals and an acoustic guitar, and then eventually took the acoustic guitar away and then brought the band in and then they played over the vocals. So we did it backwards.
Wow.
Usually you record the vocals last, and I wanted to see what it would feel like to do it the opposite way. So that's how we did it. So it was interesting for me in the studio because I was playing a little guitar, but mostly I was kind of just directing the band, here's what I hear for this part and this part, and so we kind of cut it live to the original tracks that I made. So.
Wow. Okay. Hey, that is definitely different. And generally the vocals follows the band. Was it hard for the band to follow your vocals backwards like that?
There was I would say about 70 or 80% of the record, it was pretty easy, and everybody kind of just knew exactly what to do and how it should fit together. I had a few guitar riffs and a few ideas that I'd kind of play, and then Nick, our lead guitarist, is a much better guitar player than most humans. So I'd say, here's the riff I'm hearing, and there was one solo I did on the record. It's for a song called "They Took Your Brains Tonight." So I played guitar in that song, but for the most part, it was Mike and Nick. And so I just kind of would translate my ideas. A few of them, I'd say all of them worked pretty well right away. There was a few of them we tried to work over and try a couple different sort of versions of it. And then it was just like best version one. So it went smooth. Mixing the record was a different story. I mixed it, the whole record, twice, really. I kind of mixed it and then I wasn't happy with it, so I mixed it again. And I usually mix our records. So that was I couldn't quite find what I was looking for at first, but I feel like I got there. So it took a little while. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Really interesting. And I just wonder if you're setting a precedent now, okay, new way of doing things. Just started around.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. It made me think, well, maybe I do this for the next one as well, just because it seemed to work really well, and I'd never thought about doing it that way. I'm not sure why, but yeah, maybe so. It's not a bad idea. Or well, start with drum, do it or the other thing that we've been wanting to try, we've been practicing up a storm because we've got extra time. Everybody, we played a record release here in Dallas, but we haven't been able to do a whole lot of shows just, because of obvious reasons. Yes. So we've had more time to rehearse. And so probably in our history, we're probably, more better rehearsed right now than usual. So we were thinking it'd be fun to record some live things as well, so I'm kind of hoping that's in our future as well.
I hope so. All right. When all this pandemic mess is over, are you planning to tour the album at all?
That's the plan. I'd love to. We've talked to a few bands that have said they'd like to take us out, but it's kind of a waiting game at this point. Like, when is it safe and when is it going to be okay? We're not really. We've always been a bit of an underdog band. We're not that well known or anything. So to do our own tour, we used to do those in between opening up for other bands, and so ideally, I'd love to go out and open up for a much more popular band so we can get in front of a bunch of people. But we're not afraid of doing our own as well. So, but yeah, we've reached out to a few bands hoping that once things kind of seem safe enough that we can get out and tour around. That's the plan.
Awesome. It would be great to see you around here. Okay. Over for here in South Jersey, we are between Atlantic City and Philadelphia. So, same general area, greater Philadelphia area. And we're a little less than an hour out of Philadelphia, about 20 minutes outside of AC on the shore. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd love to get up there. Yeah.
Yeah. And, well, while we mentioned it, have you ever played Jersey at all?
Yeah, but it's been a long time. Apples played, let me think about this. With the Apples, it seems like we've played quite a few times up there. Although we stopped playing live. We've only done one show in the past, 7 years or something like that.
Wow.
And before that with Deathray, like I said, we stopped touring in 2006. So I have, but I don't remember all the places. I mean, we used to, for between 2000 and 2006, Deathray just kind of circled around America in a van constantly. So we've definitely been up there and played quite a bit, but yeah, it's been a while. Let me think. Oh, I'm not going to come up with the names right now on the spot, but yeah.
No problem.
What's your favorite place to see bands? Where do you go to see? Where are your favorite places?
Well, okay, locally in Atlantic City, some of our classic places have closed, unfortunately. There are newer places that took over. In fact, the biggest one really is called Bourré. It's a club and restaurant. It's a Cajun thing. It's Bourre. But it's French, Bourré, and up in Philadelphia, I've been to most of the clubs around there. I'm on right off the top of my tongue, the Unitarian Church over there. No, that's West Side. Sorry, I'm called the first Unitarian Church.
Uh-huh.
And the Unitarian churches are a bit out there anyway, and they don't really mind. I'm having rock and punk bands there. I'll tell you,
Right.
Right, there used to be so some of the great ones closed there too, like the North Star Bar was a great place, but it closed up, and it's a lot of great clubs there. When things finally open, of course, there's the big venues, event center and all, but it's all good.
There was a place we played in Philly that was like, we probably played there 10 times, and I'm terrible on the spot, and I feel bad that I'm not coming up with it, but there was a place that I remember really well, always stopping and playing there. And same with Jersey. And I'm feeling bad because, like I said, I'm terrible on the spot. What's the place in Jersey that Bruce got so famous and played at?
Okay.
I know we played there times.
Right. Okay. I'm probably Stone Pony at Asbury Park.
Yeah.
Great place there. I've been there also. That's more of Central Jersey,
right?
But still, it's all Jersey. It's about an hour's drive there. Also, a great place. Yeah, really good. Okay.
I'm like I said, I'm bad on the spot, but I definitely miss spring. I have a daughter, so she's 10, and so like on that she was born, I decided to stop touring for a while and just stay home, and I started doing studio work and started doing songwriting and that kind of thing. And luckily, I'm gonna knock on something, it's worked out well so far, and here I am. But yeah, I definitely miss traveling around and playing shows like that, touring. It was we got our start playing with we toured with Super Drag, we toured with the Old 97s quite a bunch, a band called Dressy Bessie, which is how I ended up meeting the Apples. We toured with the Starlight Mints, who I love. Oh gosh, who else? Brian Jonestown Massacre, we toured with them. There was a sub pop band called Arlo that we did some touring with. A band from Denton, Texas that I love called Centromatic. We toured with them a bit. So like I said, we were just kind of like just in the van constantly for about 6 years doing it, and doing random shows with other bands. But yeah, I definitely miss it.
Wow. That's great. You mentioned a lot of great bands there. Very well known. And stuff that I know we've played here at WLFR a lot. Good bands, really. You personally, what was the first concert you went to?
The first concert. So that's a good question. The first concert I saw is probably kind of different than the first that I went to, but the first one I saw, and only because when I was a little kid, there's a big, I'm sure you know Six Flags is the big theme park. Yeah. So I grew up in San Antonio, but my family sometimes in summers we would come up to Dallas Fort Worth area, and there's a Six Flags there. And I was young. I mean, I was probably 10 years old, maybe 10 or 12, something like that. And I was with my family, and we went to a Six Flags park. And of all things, Molly Hatchet, remember that band, Molly Hatchet?
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Playing at Six Flags the day I was there. And for some reason, I mean, I guess it was just in me. I was already kind of thinking about drums and maybe starting to play drums. But so instead of like going to ride rides all day, I would just wanted to see that concert. And I just and watched this band who I had no idea who they were, and was just like, I'm gonna watch this. So I watched. And the funny thing is I don't think I think you had to pay extra to get into that section where they were playing, and I didn't do that. I actually just sat on top of this like hill that was next to a fence and looked over the fence, like down on this ship, watching, and just thought, it was the most amazing thing ever. And then honestly, I didn't, I had really strict parents and never like went to concerts like all through high school, never did, was obsessed with music completely, but never went to shows. So I didn't go to any shows until I was probably, I don't know, 18 or 19. And, but then I made up for it and went to, see bands every night. And the thing that's funny is, I think one of my first shows was actually the Ramones. I went up to Austin to see the Ramones play.
Fantastic.
And it blew my mind. And I just, completely changed me. And I was already a huge, like, they were probably the first band that I discovered that was completely like, felt like it was my music, when I was really young. And so to see them live was just, I ended up getting to see them live a whole lot of times. And even got to meet Dee Dee once up in New York when I was playing. But yeah, it's interesting because even then, like as an 18-year-old in San Antonio, I kind of realized that I was less into big concerts, Ramones aside, and really into local music and local bars and stuff like that. So I started playing, and kind of people assumed I was old enough at the time to get into the bars, even though I was 18, play drums in bands and be, in these bars, and just kind of fell in love with all the local scene in San Antonio. There were a ton of great bands at the time, and some, a couple of, a handful of 4 or 5 different places that you could play. And I feel like that carried over into like being an adult and moving to Dallas and like I've probably spent way more time paying attention to local scenes and bands than national bands. Even, even still now, I work on records for bands, my friends, and it's really a good scene in Dallas, like really incredible scene.
Yeah, great. Oh, okay. And anyone in your local scene there that that maybe we should keep an eye out for?
So there's,
besides you, of course.
yeah, I mean, there's a ton of great bands. There's a band that is a very strange fit with the Deathray Davies, but we've been playing some shows with a band called the Ottoman Turks, and they're a really weird mixture of garage and punk, but it's also country, and they're probably equally a country band. But then it's just almost, yeah, they're a weird mix of things. But yeah, look out for the Ottoman Turks. They're really good, really interesting.
Thank you.
We played our record release show at a place called the Granada Theater about 2 weeks ago with them. And we actually have another show coming up, an outdoor thing in Fort Worth coming up May 8th, which is also with them. And they've become great friends of ours. And so, yeah, they're one to look out for.
Great. I thought, I think they have a new album out now too.
They, as we did. So we kind of did a double record release. Yeah.
Nice.
And they're on the same label. We're on a label called State Fair Records, which has just been tearing it up. They're a great Dallas label. And so yeah, it's been a really great thing. Like lots of newish friends and similar people. But it's been
awesome.
A good, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't mind talking about live music a little bit more, here's a question that I like to ask a lot of my guests. What would be your dream gig, if you haven't had it yet, that is? Okay. The kind of show or venue or both that would be on your bucket list.
Oh, that's interesting. So the funny thing, you say that, a bucket list, because Jason and I, the guy I basically started Deathray with, he and I kind of always had this sort of running list of places we wanted to play. And there was places like the 40 Watt in Athens and CBGB's way back in the day. And, the Crocodile up in Seattle, and, just places, some big, some small, but, and we've been really lucky enough to check most all of them off the list. There's still a few though. Like he got to play Radio City Music Hall. I haven't done that one yet. He did that with the Spree. My point is, I'd have to think about the venue, but there's a band that I love that I would love to tour with, or at least play a show with, and it's Guided by Voices.
Oh, great band.
I think they're kind of a similar thing. I'm super inspired by Bob Pollard. I've met him before, and he thankfully says he likes our band. And but yeah, that would be a dream. Actually, I'd just say a dream tour, because I'd love to do a tour with them, like for us to get to open up for him. So
that sounds great.
Put that out into the universe. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Here at WLFR, we've been playing them a lot, and the last few years they've been really prolific. I mean, like yeah. 2 or 3 albums a year. Oh my God.
I don't know how he does it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, that'd be the dream gig. And I'm a little bit surprised it's never happened, honestly. But like I said, we've had 15 years off, so we're the ones to blame there. But that'd be the first one that comes to my mind.
Very good. All right. Okay. Back to your new album. Okay. You really picked the perfect album name for maybe a few different reasons. And I'm definitely taking the 16-year break. Also, when you think about the last year, a lot of people have been stuck at home also.
Right.
Yeah. Time well wasted.
I don't know where I came up with that, but it definitely, as soon as I thought of it, it definitely stuck. And sometimes picking album artwork and titles and those sort of things sometimes aren't the easiest thing, but it was, yeah, that one came quick and completely seemed to sum up, everything going on. So yeah, the art on the cover of the record is an artist named Stephen Miller, who I just love that painting. I saw that about a year before and just got a hold of the guy and said, hey, is it possible to use this? Because I really love this image. I think it's perfect. And luckily he agreed right away and was all for it. So,
That's great. That's great. Are there any particular favorites on the new album of the songs?
Of mine?
Yes.
That's hard to pick. It depends on the day, I think. I don't know.
Right.
It's hard because like I said, I wrote them all. So I think for a while, my favorite might have been Oh Stars. Right now, my favorite might be Medicine Head. And maybe for the reason that it kind of sounds closest to the Kinks, that kind of thing. It feels a little like what the initial start of the band was, what I had in mind for the band from the start.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm happy with the closer, the last song on the record. I'm really happy with. Anyway, good. I like them. I don't know.
Oh, sure. Okay. About your record release party, did you play all the songs on it or some of them?
I think we played 7 of them.
7?
So about half. We wanted to play a bunch of the older songs too. So
yeah.
Hadn't played in ages, and so I didn't want to only play the new ones, although we've been rehearsing all the new ones. So at some point it'd be nice to play a show where we're just playing all brand new ones, but we kind of mixed it up. So I think it was about 7 of them of the new ones from the new record. And we try to keep it, pretty faithful to the recording. I think we played that one and we kind of rocked it out a bit more, or opened it up a bit more, but the rest of them were pretty much as recorded.
Which one was that you said?
Oh, on Oh Stars.
Stars, nice.
We kind of rocked that out a bit more, yeah.
Nice. Which one? Did you maybe have the most fun playing live?
Oh, so there's a song called "Close Your Eyes and Floor It."
I love that song on it. Yeah.
Thanks. I think maybe that one was the most fun I had playing of the new stuff. I'm not sure why. It just that one always seems to like be a little more effortless or clicks, or there's something about the energy of it.
It's a good rocker.
Thanks.
Yeah, definitely. Oh wow. Okay. All right. Okay. Time is flying by. I do want to leave room to play your brand new music for you. Definitely include a bunch of the ones that we talked about here. How can people find you online?
Oh, that's a good question. We've got all the usual, Instagram, Facebook stuff, but through State Fair Records, I guess they have a website, statefairrecords.com, and through there's all kinds of links to how to find us through, and we're on Spotify and Apple and all the streaming, all those sort of things. We've made 2 videos for the new songs so far. I think we're considering making one for Close Your Eyes and Floor It. We're thinking about doing that one next, but we've got one for Then You Met Me and one for a song called Talking with Friends.
Oh, great. I'll have to check them out.
Check those out. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, statefairrecords.com can kind of hook you up with all the links if you go there first. And let me think. There's another thing next Thursday. I'm forgetting what date it is, but there's a TV show thing, an online show called Waltzer TV, and it's out of Philadelphia. And we're going to be on a week from tomorrow. We're going to be on that. So I think it's WALTZER Waltzer TV. So
okay,
check that out too.
All right then. And this show here will be airing Thursday, so it's a week from now then, really. Right?
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Good timing. All right.
Playing us on your station. Thank you.
My pleasure. I just hope that one day after all this mess is over, we could maybe have you as guests in the studio. It'd be awesome.
I would love that. Yeah, for sure.
That'd be fantastic. Best of luck, and thank you again.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's great talking to you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Okay. See you.
See ya.